You didn't just wake up. You were dragged violently from somewhere else, somewhere colder, somewhere older. You try to move. You can't. Your chest feels like it's caving in. There's something pressing down on it, breathing, slow, deliberate, right above your face. And you're not alone. Stay until the end and I'll show you what really waits for you in the dark. Not metaphors, not science, but the things that come when the world forgets your name. Demons, real ones, ancient ones, the kind you've already met, you just don't remember. This isn't about nightmares. This is about the ones who create them. They don't come for your body. That would be too easy. They come for what's left when your body is useless, when your limbs won't respond, when your voice is a silent scream caught in your throat. That's when the door opens. Not a door you can see, a door inside you. They slip through cracks in your awareness. They wait for that fragile, flickering moment between dream and waking, when the soul lifts just a little, when you're untethered, exposed, and then they sit on your chest. They watch, they feed, they have names, many names. In the darkened corners of ancient Greece, they were the Oneiroi, children of night, swarming like smoke, dripping dread into the minds of mortals. You didn't see them, you felt them, like cold oil sliding into your thoughts. But they weren't alone, there were others. In the candlelit nightmares of medieval Europe, they came as incubi and succubi. They didn't just visit, they took your energy, your will, your life. And when they left, they didn't always leave empty-handed. Every culture, every language, the same story. Presence, pressure, predator. Here's the part they don't put in textbooks. They never left. You think you're modern, rational, above all that myth and superstition. But tonight, when your eyes snap open at 3:17 a.m. and your body won't move, and the shape in the corner starts to breathe in rhythm with your heart, try to remember what you saw here. Because the Mare from Norse legend, the one who crushes your chest and steals your breath, she doesn't care that you have Wi-Fi. She only cares that you're alone and still and scared, and that you saw her. But there's something deeper, something worse, because not all of them come to feed. Some come to speak, to whisper things you were never meant to hear. Next, we descend further, to the lands where demons don't haunt dreams, they build them. India, Japan, and the spaces between. Are you still with me? Good. Don't blink. They don't knock, they seep through the cracks in your sleep, through the spaces behind your eyelids, through the folds in your thoughts you didn't know were open. Let's start with the Oneiroi, the dream bearers of ancient Greece. But don't let the poetic name fool you. These weren't winged cherubs fluttering dream dust over your head. They were shadows, shifting, formless, coiling around your mind like smoke trapped in glass. There were three you needed to fear. Orpheus, who shaped dreams into people you trusted. A dead lover, a forgotten friend. He'd step into their skin, speak with their voice, and when you reached out to touch them, they'd crumble into insects. Phobator, who brought nightmares. Animals with too many eyes. Storms that whispered your name. Teeth that weren't connected to anything. He didn't scare you. He unstitched you, slowly, softly. And Phantasos, the liar. He made landscapes that made no sense. A staircase that led into your own mouth. A forest growing from your ceiling. A room full of watches that tick backwards while you scream without sound. The Oneiroi didn't come to entertain. They came to corrupt the bridge between reality and dream, to bend your sense of what's possible, and then leave you wondering if you ever truly woke up. And then, Europe got colder, and the demons got hungrier. The incubus waits at the edge of your bed, not always visible, just weight, heat, breath. He's not here to seduce. He's here to violate the last part of you that thinks it's in control. He doesn't whisper. He doesn't speak. He breathes, slow, wet, in time with your heartbeat. He presses down until you feel your ribs shift. He leans close enough that your skin remembers him. And when he's done, he leaves you altered, not bruised, not broken, just wrong. Like your soul got slightly misplaced. And the succubus, she smiles. She appears exactly as you want her to. She leans in. Her fingers trail your skin, not like love, like inventory. She wants to be invited, and she always is. That's the trick. And when you wake up, gasping, confused, cold, you'll miss her. Even though part of you knows what she took wasn't hers. In Japan, they call it kanashibari, bound in metal. A feeling so specific, it has its own word. They believe spirits, especially the angry ones, pin you to your bed, not to harm you, not at first, just to see how long it takes before your sanity starts to peel. It begins with footsteps, then whispers, then breath on your face from something that has no body. These aren't demons with names. These are wrongs given shape, unfinished deaths, betrayals with teeth. They don't need to eat you. They need you to remember them. And here's the part that ties every shadow together. They don't visit you. They wait for you. They know when you're on the edge, exhausted, vulnerable, unsure if you're awake. That's when the veil thins. That's when their fingers slip through. And the worst part, they don't always leave. Some of them find cracks, places in your memory, voices you forgot you heard, a handprint on the wall you didn't notice yesterday. Still think it's just your brain. Because next we're going to Scandinavia, where the word nightmare didn't mean bad dream, meant a creature that sits on your chest until you forget your own name. She doesn't knock either. She arrives when your breath goes shallow, when your eyes flutter open in the dark, and the silence feels too perfect. That's when the mare lowers herself onto your chest. In Scandinavian folklore, she's not a metaphor. She's not a symbol. She's a creature. One with claws that don't break skin, they break will. They say she was once human, a cursed soul, a witch, a woman who died with hatred in her heart. Whatever the origin, her body is gone now. What's left is vapor with intent, pressure with a face. She doesn't need to speak. She doesn't even need to look at you. She presses down, slowly, steadily, until your lungs feel like plastic bags collapsing. You try to scream, but your throat is occupied by terror. And in that helpless, airless moment, she drinks. Not blood, not breath, dreams. The mare feeds on the mind in its most defenseless state, not when you're unconscious, but when you're between. You remember it as a nightmare. She remembers it as dinner. In Old Norse, she was so feared that her name became the word for the entire experience. Mare, from which we get nightmare. You thought it meant bad dreams. It meant her. But here's the thing about demons. They adapt. They don't need you to believe in them. In fact, they prefer you don't. Skepticism is delicious. It makes you careless, vulnerable, alone. Because the mare doesn't ride horses anymore. She rides algorithms. The Incubus doesn't need a medieval peasant shack. He appears in studio apartments, just as your phone dies and the streetlights flicker. The Oneiroi. They've upgraded. They slip between images in your feed, a face you don't remember seeing, a sound in a TikTok that makes your teeth hurt, a comment that feels like it was written for you, and not in a good way. Demons didn't die with myth. They evolved with you. They've been waiting in the operating system of your sleep, watching from the loading screen of your thoughts. And when you wake up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, heart racing, unable to move, it's not a malfunction. It's a signal. Modern accounts of sleep paralysis are shockingly consistent. Allah's a shadow at the foot of the bed, a woman with no eyes, crawling on the ceiling, a child laughing from inside the closet. It's not your closet. These aren't random. They're patterns, recurring images, archetypes, as if something or someone has been carefully crafting them for centuries, tuning them, perfecting the fear. You think you're having hallucinations? You're not. You're receiving a performance. Each episode is a custom nightmare, tailored to your memories, your fears, your regrets. Every detail calculated, every whisper calibrated. They know you intimately, better than your therapist, better than your God. And here's the final twist. Some people don't wake up. They're found in their beds, eyes wide open, mouths frozen mid-scream. The doctors call it heart failure, or exhaustion, or nothing at all. But the mare calls it harvest, and she is very, very patient. Next, we close the circle. We'll walk through two real accounts, not stories, accounts, testimonies whispered through time. And then maybe you'll understand why the next time you wake up and can't move, you shouldn't just wait it out. You should apologize, just in case. Account 1. The Man in the Hat. It always starts the same. James, 29, Denver. No history of trauma, no mental health diagnoses, just a graphic designer with a sleep schedule and a dog named Kilo. He woke up one night to the sound of Kilo growling, not barking, growling. Low, guttural, primal. The kind of sound dogs make when they're not trying to warn you, they're trying not to move. James tried to sit up. He couldn't. Chest heavy, breathing short, air in but not enough. He thought he was dying. Heart attack maybe, until he saw it. A silhouette at the door, 6 feet tall, thin, perfectly still, and wearing a wide-brimmed hat. James blinked. The figure didn't. It stepped forward, soundless, and as it got closer, the room got colder. The hallway lights behind it dimmed. Kilo whimpered and left the bed, tail between legs. He never did that, ever. Then the hat man leaned in. No face, just a hole where intention should be. And James says, not remembers, says, that he felt something go inside him, not a presence, a rearrangement. And then he woke up, except he didn't remember dreaming. And 2 days later, Kilo died. Account 2. The visitor with no skin. Carmen was 18, first year of college. She worked nights, studied days, slept in short, desperate bursts. She told her roommate she kept waking up to the same dream, always around 3 a.m., always the same sound, nails scraping along the wall behind her headboard, but the walls were cement. The last night she was in that dorm, her roommate recorded her sleep just as a joke. They watched the footage the next morning. At 3:03, Carmen's body went stiff. Her mouth opened like she was gasping. No sound came out. And then, shaped from the upper corner of the room, something uncoiled itself, pale, thin, almost translucent. No skin, no face, just tendons and teeth. It lowered itself until it hovered inches from her face, and it stayed there, watching, breathing. The footage cut out at 3:06, the file corrupted. Carmen dropped out 2 weeks later. She won't talk about what she saw when she finally opened her eyes. She sleeps with all the lights on now, and the walls of her new apartment scratched. You wanted to know what sleep paralysis demons really are. They're not figments, they're not glitches, they're not childhood trauma or REM confusion. They're old, intelligent, and patient. They've worn many names across many cultures, but they don't care what you call them. They care that you remember them, that you tell others, that you believe just a little, because the less you believe, the more likely they are to visit. So the next time you wake up and you can't move, and you feel something breathing on your chest, don't panic. It's probably nothing, just your imagination, just your brain misfiring. Or maybe it's something hungry and patient and waiting. If you're still breathing and haven't looked over your shoulder yet, congratulations. Now make sure you're not the only one who knows. Like the video, subscribe, and share this with someone who says they don't believe in monsters, because now they should. Sleep well, and see you in next story.